Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro, friends. Today's sponsor on the podcast is Elixir. If you haven't heard a frontline initiative for Map It Forward, go ahead and check out elixirspecialtycoffee.com. It's an initiative that we are targeting to get the industry back to fiscal growth again. So it's being piloted through Elixir Specialty Coffee. You can check it out at elixirspecialtycoffee.com. Links are in the show notes below. Today on the Map It Forward podcast, on the Daily Coffee Pro podcast by Map It Forward, we're talking about knowing the point of what you're doing right now while you're in isolation, while everything has been turned upside down. Understanding the point of what you're doing is going to give you a driven target towards having functionality in your day, to having direction, to understanding what this moment in your career that was not predictable 6 months ago, knowing the point of what the role it's going to play in your long-term trajectory of your business, of your professional life, of your career is going to be important in deciding how the rest of your career unfolds. At Map It Forward, we are big on the idea of a career map and creating career maps in 10-year blocks. And that's for a multitude of reasons. At the core of it is understanding where you'd like to be at the end of that 10 years and fashioning a career that helps you along the way get closer and closer to the goal at the end of that 10 years. Well, this time in isolation, this time the coronavirus pandemic era that we're all experiencing has definitely thrown a spanner in the works for all of us. Reassessing where you're looking to get to in 10 years starts with understanding what the point of this moment is for you. And so by maximizing what your time is going to look like in isolation is going to play a pivotal role in knowing what the trajectory you're looking for to get to in 10 years is going to be. For a lot of us, that trajectory will have changed. For a lot of people, understanding that the industry has changed forever is already a reality. For other people, that reality is slowly seeping in. Getting there as quickly as you can to understanding that all the hopes and dreams that you had for your career from here to 10 years, or the plan that you had been working on that you were perhaps a couple of years into, will have shifted because of this unpredictable coronavirus pandemic that has thrown a spanner in the works. Having a point to the efforts that you explore now, regardless of how long this pandemic situation lasts, is going to be pivotal in determining how much you get out of it, so that when you look back at this time, you don't see it as a waste of time. For some people, the best way to spend this time will be in rest. For other people, the best way to spend this time will be in being innovative in business. For other people, this is going to be a time where they spend in research and education. But approaching this without having a point is going to leave you reactive to the situation as opposed to proactive. And self-leadership, as well as group leadership, is all about being proactive to situations rather than reactive. That doesn't mean that 100% of the time is being proactive. There is a time at the beginning where you can experience a reactiveness. It's the time it takes you from the time you've got new information to the time you become proactive that is a determinant factor in how quickly you'll recover and how quickly you'll get onto the point of what this time is all about. So how do you do that? It's important to ask this question, particularly for people who haven't got a lot of experience at being deliberate about things in their life. And that's a reality for particularly an industry like ours, where we have a very low barrier to entry. And so people don't necessarily have to have gone and done things that require discipline and examination before this. That's not a criticism, it's a reality. The barrier to entry for what we do is incredibly low. And so that can sometimes, I'm choosing my words carefully because I don't want it to come across as though I'm criticizing the fact that you don't have to have any experience to be in our industry. It's more one of those situations of this is a learn on the job kind of thing. And because of that, people have a structure. They come to work, they learn on the job, and they continue to navigate that knowledge on the job. Now it's different. Now you are set free from that, and the structure that you have around you is a lot less than what you're used to. And that pushes you into a situation of being a self-starter. It pushes you into being self-motivated. It pushes you into having to be proactive on a daily basis about committing to something, because there's nobody telling you you have to do this. Our industry is going to emerge from this with the workforce having experienced one of two things. You're either going to come out of this having felt that you are ready for going back to work, or you're going to come out of this feeling that this is not for me. This industry is not for me. I didn't prepare well enough to come back to work. And that's just a reality we're going to have to accept. Knowing the point of why you are going through this right now is going to better prepare you for knowing which of those two scenarios you're going to be a part of. Bear in mind, there won't be as many jobs as there were before, because it will be determined by herd immunity how back to work, as they say, we can get. So until there's either a vaccine for COVID-19 or 70% of the global population has been infected, or your local population has been infected, excuse me, we can't get restaurants and cafes back to having dine-in and the mass groups of people that used to turn up to cafes every morning and in the afternoons. Students can't go back to university, so college cafes and excuse me, cafes where people go and study in or work in are just not going to be a reality anymore. Because of that, the cafe world is going to change. And in a couple of episodes, we're going to talk more about how the cafe environment is going to have a new determinate future. Understanding what the point of this isolation is for you, as I said, whether it's rest, whether it's learning, whether it's innovation, whether it's entrepreneurship, understanding what the point is for you is going to be incredibly pivotal in determining the way that you emerge from this and the role that you'll play in the industry, depending on what the industry looks like after this. I encourage you to think about very carefully what role you want to play in that, and whether you want to continue to be in the industry after this. It's going to be very pensive is a good word, I guess. It's going to be a very pensive time for a lot of people in our industry moving forward, because the things that we have previously thought gave us purpose, we're starting to reassess that now. Is all the hard work that we've put in before for such little pay, is it worth it anymore? Is it worth operating a business at 3% net profit? Is that the way we want to spend our lives? Make sure you understand what the point of this time in isolation is all about. this holding pattern that we're in, and you'll get a lot more value out of it on the other end. Peace, love, and peanut butter, friends. Have an amazing rest of your day.